Hello, and welcome to Story Time with Mrs. Cohen. Today, we are going to read Goodnight, Moon. That's the title of the book. The author of the book is Margaret Wise Brown. She is the person who wrote the story. The person who drew the pictures is Clement Hurd. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 1, 2, 3 little bears sitting on chairs. And 1, 2 little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, squeak, squeak, squeak. And a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow, jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens, meow. And good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. In each of the pictures, the little mouse is hiding. Can you find the little mouse? There he is, right there. And then when we go to the next picture, where's the mouse? There he is. Where's the mouse here? There he is. Can you find the mouse on this page? There he is. Can you find him now? Where's that little sneaky mouse? This one's a tricky one. He is a sneaky mouse. There he is, all the way up there on the bookshelf. Now where'd he go? Oh, look, he's enjoying the nice warm fire. It's getting darker. Can you see the mouse? Where is he? He's going to eat the bowl full of mush. And now that cute little mouse is looking at the moon and stars. Good night, cute little mouse. I love saying goodnight before I go to sleep. It helps me relax. It's kind of like counting sheep. You picture the sheep jumping over you and you go 1, 2, 3. Well, goodnight is another way of doing that. Sometimes I say goodnight to all of my family members. They don't hear me, but it's nice to think of everybody I love before I go to sleep. So I'll say, as I'm laying in my bed, good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Good night, Tommy. Good night, Joey. Good night. And before I know it, I'm asleep. Or sometimes I switch it up and I do animals like, good night, giraffe. Good night, elephants. Good night, rhinoceros. Good night, hippopotamus. Sometimes I do it with dinosaurs. Good night, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Good night, Velociraptor. Good night, pterodactyl. But just thinking about those things that we love, people we love, animals, it's a nice way to relax our bodies and it relaxes our brains, and before we know it, we're asleep. What do you do to help yourself fall asleep? See you next time.